introduce you to my co-host this afternoon. It's Adam Phillips. Adam is the CEO of American Business Systems. ABS has been around for over 27 years. Adam, it's good to see you this afternoon. I'm going to share a little bit more about what you've got. You've got some books here where you've written some forwards to the books and some things there. Tell us some about some of the books and some of the things that you're currently working on right now.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me, Eric. Glad to see everybody on the webinar today. I know that lots of people are in the midst of scrambling to get ready for back to school. So
yes,
I know that everyone's time is very valuable here. So anyway, what we are always doing is we are always thinking of ways and coming up with different materials and things to help you, our future owners, be successful and be seen as someone who is more of a true consultant in this industry than just some other medical biller. I mean, anybody can go out and take a course on medical billing. Anybody can go out and buy medical billing software. You can, type up some little brochures on your home computer, and do this. But when it comes to actually getting clients and marketing your company, that is the really hard part in this industry. Right. I talk to people all the time that they call me up and they tell me, yeah, I started my own medical billing business, but I have no clue how to market. Like, I know how to do billing. I went through the billing school, but I don't know how to market. I don't know where to even start. So that is our expertise. And what I've done is I've partnered with Dr. Vicki Rackner. This first book that you see here, 10 Critical Questions for Physicians. It is basically a book designed specifically to help doctors realize that they have more problems and that it's taking them more time and effort to manage their money in their practice. And so that's what this whole thing is all about, is encouraging them to read this book and understand there are better ways of doing things. So my brand new book that I mentioned last week, that's actually just got sent to the print shop, 9 Ways Doctors Let Money Slip Through Their Fingers. It's the same kind of concept as this other book, basically. It's all designed so that you can give these books as gifts to doctors. And we actually show you very specifically how to highlight certain things in the book and, just make it where they can just kind of thumb through it and get the gist of it. They don't have to read the whole thing. So I am very proud to be a part of these books and have written these for you guys so that they can be a very good marketing tool for you. Hopefully that makes sense there.
You bet. And you're really taking, the step from your dad there, Patrick Phillips, and your dad's not fully out of the picture here, but you are taking a little bit more of the day in and day out roles of what Patrick has been doing. Tell us about what you kind of see as the future here of ABS here.
Well, the future is bright. I took over as CEO several months ago, and my father, he's kind of semi-retired at this point, but he still is on some webinars and things, and he's still very active as far as writing books. He's a published author as well, and so we just have, my goal is to continue rolling out brand new partnerships with some of these new products and services that you'll learn about today, and continue giving my owners the best possible tools to gain the trust with the doctors and get their foot in the door. And this is what you're going to learn about today, is some of these ways of doing that.
Yeah, so we're going to talk to you about what does it take to run a medical billing franchise. I'm sorry, Adam, why don't you give us a little bit of history, though, of kind of where this all started with, I believe from your mom, she was doing some medical billing at one time, but this has just grown into more than just a family business. I mean, this is a real thriving business that has touched a lot of people over the more than 27 years.
Yeah, we've been at it for a long time. For those of you that don't know the story, I'll just kind of try to make it quick. It's they actually started doing some medical billing from home in the 80s. Like, I remember my mom using a typewriter, to do she would stick these 2-part claim forms in a typewriter, if she messed up, she had to use this whiteout junk, on there and redo it, retype it. So, and then eventually they moved into, as soon as software became available, they started using software. And then, eventually it became a cloud-based system, which just made it way easier, way more convenient, way more efficient. And that's where we are today, with the cloud-based systems that we're going to show you. But yeah, we've been at this for a long time. And the reason why we do this is because of our main focus, which is helping individuals start their own company and be able to live a happy life and be, hopefully more successful than they were in their previous job.
Right.
This is what keeps us, getting up in the morning, is all the emails we get and testimonials from people saying, I'm making 3 or 4 times what I was making at my job, my JOB. We all know JOB stands for just over broke, right? So and I came from the corporate world too, so I know how the corporate world can be just like such a drain on someone's life and mentality. And I'm never going back to the corporate world. I mean, being in a family business for as long as I have, I love it. I'm never going back.
And I was going to say, obviously Patrick just didn't hand it over to you. You're not just getting this, handed over to you in a silver platter. Adam's done his work. He's put in his due diligence. He's done everything. And as he said, he came from corporate world, but entered into the business, 17, 18 years ago yourself, and then into where you are today. So you mentioned earlier that you were working with Dr. Ragnar. And before we maybe even show some of the video clips from some of the business owners from ABS, I wanted to put this quote back up here because, Adam, a lot of people are always asking still, is medical billing and getting into a medical billing franchise still a viable business to get in?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. And it really is. I mean, I actually had a good call with a brand new prospective licensee this morning. And, he actually said, yeah, I used to be in medical device sales. And I've reached out to, some of my doctors that I consider friends. And I asked them, what's the deal with this outsourced, medical billing stuff? Is there a need for it? And they said, oh, yeah, there's such a need for it because it's just like a constant barrage of, the government saying, well, now you got to do it this way instead of this way. Here's all these new codes that you have to use. Here's all these new payment models that you have to follow. It's really a pain in the butt for doctors to try to manage in-house. And even if they've got someone who's pretty good at it, maybe in their office doing it, they're still paying that person a heck of a lot more money than they could be paying you to do it outside the office.
Right.
So that's the whole key thing is almost always 9 times out of 10, when we do an analysis of a doctor's practice, it makes more sense for them financially because they're spending less time, less effort, and less money to get better results. And the reason why they're getting better results is because you guys have access to one of the top systems in the nation. And you're going to be able to be laser focused on helping the doctor make sure those claims are done right and followed up on in a timely manner. That's key.
Well, in this quote here, I'm just going to underline a couple of things here. There's the word walk away from an average of 30% of their incomes. I mean, Adam, is that truly the stat that we're seeing here?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All the time part of our marketing process is we teach you, the owner, how to do an analysis of a doctor's practice. And it's very easy. It's a series of questions that we give you to ask them. But when we see the results of those questionnaires all the time, one of the questions is, what's your claim rejection rate or denial rate? And we're seeing, 10%, 15%, 20%. We're seeing very, very high numbers. So the reason why this is happening is because there are so many different software systems out there. There's a lot of systems that are not integrated with the medical record system that the doctors use. So it's a very convoluted way of getting things done. I mean, there are doctors that have hired someone to read all of their charts from the EHR that they have and type everything manually back into, whatever system you have for billing or practice management. So it's highly inefficient because you've got a human being typing all this information. There's going to be typos. I mean, there's such a high chance for them typing something in wrong. It's just, there's so many high, inefficiencies in the medical practice today is what I'm trying to say. So yes, we absolutely all the time see 20% increases, 30% increases. That is true.
You bet. Now, we've been talking about all the different income streams that you actually have in the medical billing world, but most people, like you said earlier, most people think they go to school, they go try to get a education of how to do medical billing. I think the best way that I like to describe this is that you're buying a medical billing business, not just a medical billing job. And because what ABS has been able to do through some of the leadership of what Adam's been able to do is, like, as he said earlier, adding more content, whether it's marketing content or other resources for you as a medical billing company can tap into the doctor's world. And so it's a myriad of these things here. Adam, you may want to chat about this a little bit before, and then maybe this might be a great time to play a video clip right after you kind of explain all the different services that a medical billing franchise can offer that you can't really get with anything else that's out there on the market.
Yeah, I mean, what you're seeing here is just an example of most of the services. We actually have a few more that we've just recently launched and rolled out.
Right.
We've got a partnership with a dental platform now, Dentamax. So yes, we are going full speed ahead into the dental market. We've got a partnership with Doctable. It's a patient follow-up and texting program, all kinds of cool stuff. So this is just kind of an example of that. But yeah, I mean, this is probably a good time to go ahead and jump into that video.
Sure.
Part of the webinar that we're doing today is we're actually showing you some highlights of some interviews with some of our licensees.
Very good.
This first video is going to be from Jay Beatty. He is actually from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, as a matter of fact, where we are. And he's only been with us for a few years, and he only has a few clients. But those clients pay him a lot of money. So he's going to be talking about why that is. And I'll give you a little hint. It's because he signed up a few podiatrists. And this one in particular, he was actually making pretty good money. He's making, a percentage of what the podiatrists bill, which podiatrists make a pretty good amount of money but this certain podiatrist actually started doing these special surgeries. I don't know exactly what it is, but these surgeries were very, very expensive. And so when they started filing those surgery claims, well, guess what? Jay gets a percentage of every single claim, no matter what. So his revenue went way up. So I'm going to go ahead and play this clip. If you guys are listening to the video, if you can see it, if you can't hear it, let me know. And if you have any questions at all about the video or anything, you can go ahead and start typing those in. Let me see. Let me click share screen. And then I click video. Bear with me, guys. I'm new at this. All right, I'm going to click on the Jay Beatty video, and it should start playing here in just a sec.
Let's just see if Jay Beatty is anywhere close by. There he is.
Hi, Patrick. How are you?
All right. Hey, you are live. And you know what? I think you're working out of your home today.
Yeah, I always work out of my home. This is part of the best, well, actually the best part about being in the business, being able to work remote right out of your house.
Yeah, doctors don't care where you're working as long as you collect that money for them, huh?
That's correct.
Now, you used to have, I remember about a year ago, I did an interview with you, Jay, right after you had completed the training, I think, shortly after. And you had, you had an office at that time. So what happened there?
Well, actually, it was funny because I was in my home office, which is still around the corner. But in the lovely days of COVID, my wife works for Hewlett Packard, and of course now she's working remote out of the house.
Okay.
So based on the hours she puts in at work every single day versus me, she's taken over the office. So I'm able to work, as you know, anywhere in the house or anywhere I want. Bring my laptop everywhere I go, and as long as I have my laptop with me, I'm able to get work done.
You've built quite a business for yourself, haven't
Now, I don't know if you guys picked up on that, but the system, again, that we have is fully cloud-based, which means as long as you're doing business with doctors in the US-based doctors, you can do the work anywhere in the world with an internet connection. So laptop, it runs on a Mac, it runs on a PC, any browser, any tablet, iPhones, iPads, iOS, Android devices, Windows, you name it. So it makes it very easy for you and very easy for your doctor clients. Nobody has to upgrade any hardware or equipment or anything.
Yeah, it's been probably has exceeded my expectations from first getting into it. I'll tell my story in a second when you're ready, but it's been extremely worthwhile. Very happy.
Yeah, you told me before we got actually on the live webinar that you really didn't dream you'd be making the kind of money that you're making now. And we won't ask you for details on that, but it's turned into a nice full-time income for you, hasn't it?
It has, and quite frankly, as you know from our conversations, I retired and was just looking for something to keep me busy and bring in some extra money, and probably looked at 20 to 25 different business models.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had a list of criteria that, for me to do this, get back and owning my own business again, every one of those criteria I had to check the box. It had to fit. And I think ABS was, and I'm not just saying this because we're on the screen together, but it was the only business model that checked all those boxes. One of them being the ability to be able to work remote, be in a virtual business, not have employees if you don't choose to. You can have employees. A lot of our business owners do. But for me, it was more of a part-time opportunity, bring in some extra cash, keep myself busy. And it's just flourished. It's turned out to be, in terms of personal revenue generation, it's far exceeded my expectations.
That's good.
Yeah. Now, if you caught that, this is a part-time business for him still. He's semi-retired, and his part-time revenue, I'm not gonna tell you what his actual revenue numbers are. I don't know the exact numbers because everybody's running their own business, and that's a private thing. But I can tell you it's 5-digit monthly revenue. 5 digits. It's pretty good.
I hear that a lot as I interview licensees. We've actually got people, Jay, I don't know if you've heard some of my interviews with licensees who've said that they've reached 7-figure revenues.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Doesn't surprise.
It's an unlimited amount of money that you can make, depending on how hard you want to work, how many people you want to hire, and so forth. But you can also keep it small, just like you have. Let me just ask you, Jay, give us a little feel for what you were looking for in a business, why you chose this over some of the others, and what you were doing before you got involved with us.
Well, I had worked in the security industry for over 20 years. I worked for Brinks for a little over 14 years. I had a personal income target that I was satisfied with, that I wanted to meet. And when I was looking at different business models, as you know, a licensing opportunity is different from a franchise opportunity. The benefit of a licensing opportunity is the franchise like to take a percentage of your revenue every single month, right?
Yeah.
Sales, marketing revenue. And I was a franchise owner in my early stages of my life. And the licensing opportunity attracted me because ABS, we'll use ABS as a great example, is like a franchise. It gives you all the tools and resources to be successful in your business. But as you are successful in that business, they're not really sharing with the success of revenue that you're generating, right? Which to me was a great opportunity because I knew that if I just followed the yellow brick road, right, and didn't try and reinvent the wheel, listen to the guidance of ABS in terms of all the resources, materials, trainings videos that you can watch, and then talking to our third-party partners, as you're showing on the screen, and getting educated about all these different services and how we can actually consult a private medical practice in terms of improved revenue, improved P&L, and operating efficiencies. I could do this. And I didn't have to be educated on medical billing or coding or credentialing, and certainly didn't want to be the guy doing the collections, right? It's not why I get into this whole thing. I got into it to be able to create a business for my teams, and a lot of my teams are actually our third-party servicing companies that you're seeing on the screen. They do all the heavy lifting and work. The benefit for us is they're doing it for our clients, and they're getting the business from us, connecting them with our clients. So, you know, we get a little bit of a bump and pay for that. Most of our revenue comes from billing, but we do make some money with these other third-party companies as well. And it's a great retention tool. The more services that you can have your client accept of what we do, the greater the retention of keeping those clients. Because if they ever decide to go somewhere else billing-wise, there's a great possibility they're going to lose all these other opportunities, and they're not really willing to do that, right? So it fit, the whole model fit my criteria. I told you before, part of my criteria is being able to have a virtual company, work remote. I didn't want employees. I didn't want all those headaches again. Basically, I had contractors that do a lot of my work, and then working with our third-party services companies. I wanted to have and this is a big one based on what we're going through today. I wanted a business that was recession-proof. Mm-hmm. So something came about. Was this business going to still be viable, still be alive?
Right.
And not have a struggle or take a hit or lose the business. And COVID is a perfect example. We haven't missed a beat throughout the challenges that we've experienced with COVID. So that was another checkbox. And then being able to have a recurring revenue model. I didn't want to have to be that guy that has to go out and look for business and generate revenue every single month. I wanted to be able to bring on clients and retain those clients and have a recurring revenue model, which this is, that I could simply manage the business with my teams and with our third-party service companies and have the revenue coming in on a month-to-month basis. So, and I could go on and on with the criteria, but those probably were the greatest parts of my criteria list that had to be satisfied. And ABS met all of those.
Yeah.
All right. So that's pretty good on that clip.
You bet.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys picked up on that, but he is not doing the billing. Did you pick up on that? He actually hired someone else to do the billing work for him, and he just manages that person. That's it. So it's a pretty good deal for him. And we actually have, I don't know if you know this, Eric, but we actually put together an official, what is it called? Case study
yes.
on Jay specifically. So
That's
if
awesome.
anybody would like to see a copy of that case study, we have it in a PDF. Just reach out to your ABS rep, and we can send that Jay Beatty case study. He's also on our reference list, by the way. So if that guy struck a chord with any of you, we would be happy to put you in touch with him. He'd be happy to chat with you about the business directly.
You know, what was great about that interview is things that he said that, you know, obviously if you said it or I said it, you know, it's one thing, but if Jay is saying it and he is an ABS business owner, one of the big things that I picked up out of what he said there, Adam, was that, you know, the freedom and the liberty you have as being getting in as a license versus a franchise. I know that we kind of talk about, you know, what does it take to run a medical billing franchise, but you want to explain real quickly about the difference between a franchise and how ABS is not a franchise, but the whole licensing part of it.
Yeah, it's the easiest way to describe it is it's just like a franchise in all of the training and ongoing support, and we actually support you for life, the life of your business. We never charge you any extra for for ongoing support. You know, it's just that you don't have to do the traditional franchise stuff, which is you don't have to pay us any royalty fees. So we actually got a question. I see a couple of questions here in the chat box. If anybody could type their questions in the Q&A box, it makes it a little bit easier for us to read and manage those. So any questions, just type them in that Q&A box. But Kieran did ask, what is the royalty fee to ABS? Kieran, that is zero. You don't pay us any royalty fee at all. The reason why we do it this way is because we don't want to take a chunk of your money and cause you any kind of hardship along the lines with that. So we have a relationship with some of our software partners where we get a small residual back from them, you know, for every claim that goes through the system. So that is our residual, and that's how you know that we've really got your best interest at heart, because, you know, if you're not signing up any clients with our help, then we're not making any money on the back end either. So we do have a back end revenue that we get, and that's going to assure that we stay in business for a long, long time. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, Adam, one of the other things that Jay mentioned was that the system, and you brought it out just there, you kind of paused it about being a cloud-based system. And I think it's extremely important to not only understand that there's nothing to have to load on your computer. You're not having to keep personal patient data on your computer, worried about HIPAA violations or anything else like that. But even going the extra step, now some people may not know this, but in our iClaim platform, there is our own clearinghouse that actually gives us an entirely new advantage, other than if we had like a piece of software, we had to load it on our computer and we would have to go contract with a third-party clearinghouse. You're really bringing the whole platter to the table, so to say, and where our business owners don't even have to go research and go choose a particular clearinghouse.
It's amazing to me that we still have to talk about the benefits of a cloud-based integrated system.
Yes.
Like you would think, don't all doctors have something like this? And it's crazy how few of them do.
Right.
There are so many. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of different software systems and non-integrated, non-cloud-based. I mean, there's a lot of crummy stuff out there. So when the doctors see the demo, when one of our expert demo team members does a full demo for one of your potential doctors, they're blown away by it, because, you know, not only is it cloud-based, but it has a couple of really unique features like an integrated clearinghouse. So if you haven't seen a demo, we'd be happy to do that. Reach out, we can do a demo for you, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, everything is right what you need to get started off with day one. As soon as you get through with the training, you get wrapped up with all of that. We're going to talk briefly about that and about some of the support mechanisms. Adam, I thought we're at the bottom of the hour. Let's kind of shift on just a little bit on the potential, and I'm going to put it up here, the potential return on investment. And one of the things that Jay brought out and your dad was bringing out in that interview that we were listening to is the potential to not only make a 5-figure income monthly, as you mentioned, 6-figure income yearly, some that are doing 7-figure income at an investment as what I would say as low as the investment here at ABS is.
Yeah, on average, our owners are grossing anywhere from 25 to 30,000 roughly on one doctor. So in Jay's case, he signed up his first doctor a couple of months after training, and he saw an ROI, a return on his investment, before that year was up. I mean, it was pretty fantastic for him.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
I'm kind of showing that just real briefly on the screen too, as well, of just showing that I'm going to back it up with one doctor seeing 20 patients a day, average number of days that they're open. And then I think there was actually a question about what does a medical billing company charge? it's going to be an average anywhere from 5, maybe up to 8%. We've got 7% because between 6 and 7 is kind of the sweet spot right now. But you can see at 7% of that, what Adam just said, you're making the first year $36,400 with one client. And Adam, we both know that, kind of even going back to what Jay was saying, this still is a part-time job. This is not 8 hours a day working for one doctor.
Yeah, this example that you're looking at here, that was just one office. So that literally means you're working about an hour and a half a day on this one client. And by the way, I don't know if you mentioned, but those screenshots that he just showed about the calculator, that's actually on our website right now. So after the webinar, if you guys go to avsystems.com, you can actually click on that calculator. There's a way to do that on the website. So yeah, you can play around with the numbers. And
we broke it down here. You can see how the numbers are kind of what you're going to actually be making out of that. Again, I'll go back up over here. If a doctor is basically seeing that 20 patients a day, that's about $2,000 a day in revenue to that doctor. Again, if you're charging 7%, that's $140 a day for you. And as Adam mentioned, it's less than an hour and a half a day of really what you're going to be doing. And there's your $36,400 a year. And Adam, this is just really with the other services that you actually have. This is just really kind of just scraping the surface of really what the potential return on investment that people can actually, look at legitimately getting to.
Yeah, and that example right there, that was a general practice doctor, yes. a very low average dollar amount per claim. I think in this example it was $100 per claim, and you're getting a percentage of that. So this is kind of the low hanging fruit, because general practices do need a lot of help, with their revenue cycle. But when you start signing up the specialists, again, this number is going to go way up, and your time spent on the processing doesn't go way up. So part of your training is we're going to talk to you about the different specialties that you should go after, the ones that are kind of the low hanging fruit, like the general practitioners. But we're going to show you the specialties that work the best for the EHR platform that we have, and really help you kind of fine tune, where you're going to target your efforts there. So,
Adam, why don't you talk real quickly how training actually has shifted even before COVID actually happened. We were doing large classroom meetings anyway, but I'm not sure whose brainchild it was to go online, but it was certainly almost like a prophet. It actually happened at the right time.
Yeah, I'm going to take all the credit for that. That was
Go ahead.
Yeah. So so like Eric said, we were flying people from all over the country into one hotel room in Dallas, and we just got to the point where that wasn't becoming very financially, it didn't make sense to do that. So we converted everything to a virtual training. So everything from start to finish with this business is virtual now. So it's the most pandemic friendly business. I hate saying that, but it really is. So your training is done online with a live instructor online from your home or wherever. A lot of the marketing is done online. The work that you do for the doctors is done online, everything. So here's an example of one of our training outlines. You can just kind of get a quick look there as a sneak peek of everything that we're teaching. You can very quickly see that we get right into the software and get you hands-on with the software in the beginning, and teach you medical billing 101 terminology, a little bit about coding, not a whole lot because we have coders that do that part for you. But then we jump into the system, and then we very quickly get into the marketing. And that's really the bulk of the training, is the business development and marketing part. How do I find doctors? How do I compete? How do I get my foot in the door? Which we've got some questions that have come in kind of related to that. Omar is asking, how do you promote the business? I'm not quite sure if that's talking about wanting to know our different marketing methods, but we're going to be going through some of that here today. And then we actually have an in-depth marketing method webinar that we did last week So if you want to check that out, you're welcome to do that. We have about a dozen or so different methods.
Yeah, let's just kind of kick off with people are, whenever they get involved with American Business Systems, they get through training, they're going to be associated with MIRMA. You can explain who MIRMA is, and then how to promote your business, that they become certified. Let's talk about that right off the bat.
Yeah. So remember, I mentioned in the beginning, this is all about positioning yourself. You guys have to remember, you are not just a medical biller. You are much, much more than that. Okay. So, the books that I mentioned in the beginning that you're going to be using as promotional tools to help build the trust with the doctors, this is another big part of the trust building. So when you finish our program, when you complete our training, we certify you as a CMRM, a certified medical revenue manager, and you receive your certificate signed by me, because I am the founder of the MIRMA, the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. So you now have a training certificate. You now have a training organization to point back to show, hey, look, I've gone through the training. I've received some certifications here. And that's what doctors want to see. They want to see that you've got some kind of certification of some sort. And this seems to be working really well for folks. They are able to promote this on their materials, and you can add your the CMRM after your name on your signature, and it just makes you look more important, because you are more important now, because you've got this this certification there. So you'll see as we go, there are several things that we do a little here and there to just build your credibility in the eyes of the doctors and let them know that you're something different than everybody else out there. We do it a different way. So,
absolutely. Yeah. And I think one of the best things about it is again, it's the opportunity, because they are going through a training. And I think that's very, very important, because it'll show to the doctor that, it's not just a piece of paper that you've received here as this certification here, but it is, you've gone through a lot of training, and that training lasts how long, Adam?
The training is 10 modules that are done, again, online, but they're an hour and a half a piece. So you end up with 15 hours of your initial training.
And that's just the beginning, because on the licensee support site, there are, as we're seeing here, over 100 hours of more in-depth training that you can actually go into. And another thing to kind of position you as you're going out there marketing, we're going to dive right into personalized books with Dr. Vicki Rackner, and I want to pull those up because, again, you're partnering with her. You're writing some of the forwards. You're collaborating with Dr. Rackner already. Let's talk real quickly how people can use the new Thriving Medical Practice right out of the gate of their training.
Sure. And if we're going to do another video, we should probably do it quick.
Yep.
But this is another book, and this is actually kind of the primary marketing book that we have right now. The other ones are a little bit newer, but this one we've actually designed to be specially customized so that you can actually have your name on the cover of this book as the writer of the foreword of the book. So we have a foreword already written that you can use if you want to, or you can write your own. But the cool thing is your name is on the book.
Right.
So talk about credibility building. That's huge. And we've actually had doctors that have been received that book as a gift, and they call the licensee up and they're like, hey, I just read that book that you wrote. Man, that book is awesome. That had a lot of really good stuff in there. They think that you wrote the book. And you have to, hopefully you'll explain to them, no, actually that was written by Patrick and Vicki, and I wrote the foreword. But anyway, that's how strong it is. And we've had stories from owners that have said, yeah, I've given out these books and gotten clients from specifically just giving out this
exactly.
book.
Adam, if you want to, let's take a few more minutes and let's watch one of those other videos I know you wanted to show here.
Okay, let's give it a shot.
Very good. Let's see if you can take it away, and I'll be ready to get it on the back end.
All right, fingers crossed here. This should be Wendy Bruno here talking.
Now, there we go.
Okay, well, let's see if our guest is still on the line here. Wendy, are you out there somewhere in the internet?
Hello.
And Wendy, again, tell us you're up in North Carolina, right?
Yep, I'm in North Carolina, Charlotte area. We moved here about a year ago from Ohio.
Well, look, I wanted to start, Wendy, by just having you, first of all, thank you for your time. I know you're very busy, and I know it's 5 o'clock your time up there. So thank you for taking out this time just to do this for us. You know how important it is. Didn't you watch some of these before
I
you?
did. I watched a few of these before, and that was a long time ago. I did. And it was, I just wanted somebody that I could talk to, somebody that I could make sure that it was a real thing. It was a legitimate business. And
what were you doing at the time?
Yeah, Wendy's done this. She's been at this for a long time. She started in like 07 or something. It's been a long time. And she's actually built up a much bigger business than Jay. She's got a whole team of people and office space and the whole 9 yards.
Time.
I did actually with wholesale flowers to flower shops. I was doing that full-time job. And we had actually started looking for things for me to do at home because we had brought our son, we had just adopted our son from Russia. I needed something that was a little bit more flexible with my time, and that we came across ABS, and the rest is history.
So let's talk about that certificate, because that's important that people know that when you go through our training, you're getting everything you need to know to certify you, right, as a medical revenue manager.
Yeah, absolutely.
And why don't you explain?
It's all the medical bill.
We've already talked about that.
A multitude of other things that we do, and it's been great. It's been great. Absolutely. It's I think it's if you've got somebody that's working
through the training, what did you do to go out and market? How did you get your first client?
We got a client from the internet.
Well, and so that first client came because they saw your website and said, I think I need some help. And so doctors really do go out and search for help with their billing, don't they?
Yes. And, with our internet marketing and stuff like that, the vast majority of the info requests that I get via email from them typically come in, in the evenings, weekends, and stuff like that. So when these doctors are sitting there, they're looking at their numbers, and they're, when things are quiet, the staff's not around, and they're like, well, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So she's one of the very few that will say she got her first client through internet marketing. Almost everyone gets their first client through networking, but she's different. Her husband actually was an SEO expert, search engine optimization expert. And so they went with what they knew, and he knew how to do Google AdWords and all that stuff. As a matter of fact, when you become an owner of ABS, you not only do you get a website, we actually have about a dozen different templates that you can choose from. But we have the company that we use that sets up that site for you. They have an SEO package. So you can actually put into place a lot of the stuff that Wendy has done to attract more visitors to your website. So it's pretty cool. That's one of the many methods that we teach.
That's usually when we get the vast majority of our info requests.
So have you gotten referrals from some doctors to other doctors?
Yep, we've gotten referrals from doctors. Our current providers, we've gotten referrals to.
All right, so let's jump ahead in time just so people can see where you're at today. How many clients do you think approximately?
30, 40 clients. I should know the number off the top of my head. I
hope you guys heard that. 40 clients.
We have quite a few. We have quite a few clients, and we're, the vast majority of my clients were in Ohio. And then Georgia and Texas and New Jersey and stuff like that. So we're kind of all over the place at this point.
Okay, let's talk about that. So her business was in Ohio for several years. She had a bunch of clients in Ohio. Well, it comes time to move. Do you give up those clients? No. The system that we have, cloud-based system, it makes it totally easy to continue servicing those clients, no problem at all, wherever she moved to. It does not matter. And as you can see, she started getting referrals from those clients. And so now she has clients in all those other states that she mentioned. I mean, there are no restrictions at all. So it's a very, very big market that you have.
We have a doctor down in Florida that we do scheduling for. We're an outsourced scheduling company for them. So it's we do a little bit of everything, and we don't have one specific specialty that we bill for. We kind of work with all of them. There's not been one that I have said no to. I take.
It doesn't matter, does it? There's too many different types of doctors out there. So, and I know what you're saying, because every time I interview a licensee, they're usually not clear as to how many clients they have, because you count a client, of course, as a practice probably, and yet some of those practices have multiple providers or doctors. So yeah, that number is.
We have a counseling group that, I mean, they have over 100 providers at that group. So they're all different sizes.
Yeah. Now you have some employees now, right?
Yep, I do. I've got seven employees working with me. We actually just brought on another one just recently within the last week, 2 weeks. But they're all working in my office in Westerville. I told them all, I said, hey, great news. I said, if you decide to pack up and head south, I'm like, we can open up an office here in North Carolina. So I'm like, at least we've got that going for us.
Yeah. Well, they could work from home, I guess, if you could monitor them. I don't know.
And they did. They did during the whole COVID thing. We had everybody pack their stuff up and just basically work from home during that time frame. And it was no question of, oh, I guess we're just gonna have to stop billing or anything like that. Like, it was full steam ahead. We do what we got to do to get these providers paid. And I certainly didn't want them to have to suffer, my employees for sure, but then also the doctors and the doctor staff and all the people that they're taking care of. So I can't just pull the plug and say, oh, sorry, we're done for 3, 4, 5 months or whatever we're going to at this point.
Right. All right, now, folks, I see some questions.
All right, so that's probably good on that one, and we're running out of time here. We got about 10 minutes. Let me see if I can. Do you know how to get that back?
I do. Yep, I'll get it back from my side there. And then, Adam, while we're doing that, Kieran asked a question which I think goes very well with what we're talking about there. Are there any restrictions for a franchisee? And we just heard just now that there's not. I mean, you could be in Ohio, North Carolina, anywhere, have clients anywhere else you want to in the United States.
Yep, that's right. No restrictions in where you do business, because it's actually not a franchise, even though we kind of tricked you and told you it was a franchise in the webinar title. But
right.
It basically is, with all the training and ongoing support, it basically is, except you're operating under your own company name and you don't have to pay any royalties, and there's no territories. You can do business anywhere you want. So
let's talk real quickly. I was going to say, let's just jump in and talk about support. And then I know that you want to spend a little bit of time of some steps that people might want to take to kind of start moving forward. And obviously we can take some more questions here, but the support is, I think I remember, gosh, long time ago that it was limited to 1 or 2 years. I can't remember what it was, Adam, but that's no longer like that. Because it's not a franchise, it's a licensing agreement that you're doing this with. You want to keep supporting your business owners.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, many moons ago, we limited our support. And then, at some point we just realized, you know what? People just need to be able to call us anytime they want to, even 2 or 3 years down the road. Now, the reality is, after about 2 years, people get it, the process down. They don't need a ton of help unless it's a weird, pricing scenario or whatever. But yeah, we support you for life now, no extra cost. So that's been a big benefit. And everything that you read about on the website, all the services, the dental that I mentioned, everything, there's no additional fees. There's no, I had somebody ask me, do I have to pay $30,000 for the dental software as well? And I was like, no, that's all included in the one fee, which is, I don't know if I mentioned, but our fee for our business is $27,990. So take a deep breath. That's a lot of money, I realize. it's actually, I don't know if for those of you who have been researching multiple franchises, you should know that that's very, very low. We're at the very low end of the investment range on those franchise websites, the under 30,000 range. So you really get a lot. You really get a lot for your investment there.
I wanted to end with this, and then we can get into some more questions here. But one of the newer services you have is virtual care, and this is somewhat of a hot topic, and some of our new business owners are actually kind of really getting engaged with virtual care. You want to just touch on that real quickly, and then we'll get into some of the last minute questions and go over some of the steps.
Yeah, I figured you'd want to talk about that one, but
yeah. Well, it's a great thing to be a part of. I mean, folks, because of COVID and the way that things have kind of gone into where it's gone into, doctors need a way to remotely keep up with their patients. And this goes beyond just what most folks think of telehealth. You've been able to do some research yourself, Adam, and come across a company that actually helps our licensees provide what's called remote patient monitoring. And it's actually helping the doctors increase revenue because it's a billable service that the doctors are doing. But then the business owners are making some money on top of that as well.
That's right. Yeah. And this like you said, it goes way beyond a Zoom, call or what they call telemedicine or telehealth. It's much more than just a video interaction. This is actual virtual people that we have hired to do the monitoring of patients in terms of their chronic care, different things that they have to do as far as, blood pressure. There's several other things that are very important that need to be recorded on a daily basis in terms of the patient's health. And so the patients that cannot leave their home because of their health or COVID or whatever, we can do this virtual care program. And the really cool thing is the doctors don't have to have a person on staff doing the actual monitoring. We can actually do the actual monitoring of the patient. So really cool. And like all the other services you'll read about, you get to make money on all these different services, including virtual care. So we have a document. We're going to mention the document here in a minute that you can go download. So yeah, you're muted, Eric.
Thank you. You need to have that cup up there like it's somebody over here is ABS says you're muted. Anyway, we've got about 5 more minutes here, so let's jump right on in. I know that you want to talk real quickly about what we're going to do next week. I put this in here. We're going to do more of a live, just basically Q&A, answering the top questions about starting the medical billing business.
That's right. Yep. We'll be on there. I'll be on there next week. We're going to have a list of the top questions that you should be asking. So you'll probably hear some stuff that you didn't even think of to ask. And so it should be very informative. Yeah.
Let's start about as we kind of wrap things up here with the money back guarantee. And then we'll kind of just talk through some of these steps here, maybe some things that people can start doing today.
Sure. Yeah. We mentioned this on every webinar. We are not only the only medical billing training company, but we are the only franchise that I know of that lets you essentially go through the entire training and then decide if it's right for you. And if you don't feel like it's right for you, we give you 100% of your money back. And that's in writing in our agreement. So we'd be happy to share that agreement with you, but we're going to go through the steps here in just a second, the due diligence steps. There we go. So step 1, I mentioned a research guide. That's actually a downloadable PDF. So if you haven't seen that, get back with your ABS rep, email us, call us. We can send you a link to that guide. And it's 50 pages. It goes into a lot of detail on all the different services. Matter of fact, we got a question here from Catherine. What additional costs can I anticipate beyond the initial franchise fee to be fully ready to service providers? There are several different possible costs that you might incur, and they're actually all listed in that research guide. I could just kind of briefly, setting up of your business entity, that could be a couple $100 for that. We give you a free website, but you do have to pay your own website hosting fee. It's $100 a year. It's very cheap. Some people get some people get errors and omissions insurance. It's not a requirement, but that'll be anywhere from a couple hundred to $500, $600 a year. If you do trade shows, there's a cost to rent those booths and go to those events. There's networking group fees. Sometimes, if you join a certain networking organization, you might have a fee there. So just little things like that. And even when it comes to like, well, what should my marketing budget be? Your marketing budget is very, very low because we tell you to focus on networking and referrals and strategic partnerships and things of that nature that are very low cost. Really it's your time and gas money, going to these different events. A lot of times you're not even driving to them anymore right now. You're just doing virtual, networking online. So go download that document, Catherine. That should, give you all that other information on the fees and stuff. Yeah. So where were we?
We're on the YouTube, and I think Anita was saying that she had to go. And folks, the presentation is being recorded. So if you want to watch it later, you can certainly do that. Let's go through step number 2 here.
All right. Yeah. Step 2, browse our YouTube channel. If you guys haven't been to our YouTube channel, we've been doing interviews for years. We have hundreds of interviews, just like Jay, just like Wendy, tons of people telling their success story, what they did to get their first client, what's working, what's not working. You definitely want to go out there and get some validation from some of those videos.
You bet. I think the next one is asking for some references. How do they get a hold of this reference list?
Yeah. So after you've seen all the videos, it's definitely at some point you're going to want to actually talk to the people in those videos, which we have several of them on our reference list. We have a huge reference list we can send you. So all you have to do is get back to your ABS rep, and we can send you a list of references you can call and speak with. And then next would be a live demo. I mentioned earlier, if you have not seen a demo of the iClaim system, you definitely want to do that at some point. I wouldn't say that it's something that you need to do before all of this other stuff. I mean, you should probably do all this other stuff first, but definitely at some point you want to see a demo, because we can show you how it's actually done for the doctors and what's going to get them excited about it and all that good stuff. So, and
then getting a purchase agreement.
Yeah, purchase agreement. We can send that to you to review it. We have an e-sign agreement now, so it's all done online, just like everything else. Awesome. But you could see in the agreement, you could see the portion about the refund that I mentioned. That's in there. So you can check that out and make sure it's all good there. And then lastly is working on getting your funding secured and getting your training scheduled. So basically, from the time you get your agreement, you just let us know how you want to do the funding, and you can do cashier's checks, wires, credit cards, a combination of all of that, cash, gold, bars.
You'll take anything.
A truckload of chickens. I don't know, whatever. And then basically, when we get the funding and the agreement, we can book your first training session very, very quickly. So we can literally have your first session booked within a couple of days of getting your agreement and your funding, and we'll get you on your way, get the training done, and then boom, you're good to go. You're out there.
You're off to the races.
Yeah, you're off to the races.
And then I know one thing we didn't mention here, Adam, but outside of the webinars that we're doing on Wednesdays, once you become a licensee, ABS business owner, you're doing webinars basically either every other week for the business owners themselves.
That's right. Yeah, we are always doing webinars. We usually do those on Fridays, which neither here nor there. But we are, just recently done several different webinars on several new partnerships that we've made with different companies. We've got another couple of partnerships rolling out in the next couple of months. So we are. Man, I'm tired. I've been working hard on these partnerships. I hope you guys are.
I have to say, you're turning it into your dad. I have to say, there's a part of both of our lives. Every man reaches to the point where I look back and I go, man, I'm just like my dad.
Yep, that's exactly right. Yep,
that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, so I'm staying busy trying to make everything possible for you guys to be successful. That's my goal.
You bet.
Yeah.
You're doing a great job. Hey,
Thanks.
everybody, register for next Wednesday's webinar. Adam, I'm sure there's a way that they can get this link. I'm not sure how to do it on the Zoom. I remember how we used to do it on GoToMeeting. But everybody take maybe a snapshot of this, and if not, you'll be getting it from your ABS rep that you're working with here at ABS.
You can send it in the chat. I don't know if you have it copied.
Okay, let me see if I can try to do that real quickly, and I think I might be able to grab that.
Actually, I think I've got it right here.
Okay, cool.
Let me see if I can paste it in there. I'll say it says me to everyone. So I think I did it. I just pasted that Zoom link in the chat if you guys want to look in there.
Excellent.
Yeah. Kieran said, what percentage is the billing fee of the medical bill? That's anywhere from about 5 to 9% is what you're charging for doing the work. So, all right. Well, we're past the hour here.
We did. We went past it. It went fast today. So thanks, Adam.
Really
appreciate
fast.
Your time.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Eric. And we'll hopefully see you guys really soon. Maybe you can get your training booked ASAP, or we'll see you on another one of these webinars next week.
Absolutely. Everybody have a good afternoon. Goodbye, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye.